Hello, I'm Miss Brown, the jewelry teacher, and here's how to take a good photo of your artwork or jewelry or sculpture. First off is to clean your lens. If you have an expensive DSLR camera, you're going to need a special cleaning cloth. If you're just on your phone and you're using this lens right here, you can just take a clean piece of fabric and wipe that off, get it to be nice and clean and fingerprint free. The next thing you need to do is find good lighting. This usually means going outside if it's a nice bright day, or even shining a light onto your piece, making sure that there's no big cast shadows on it. You also need to display it somehow, especially if it's jewelry or 3D. You can put it on a person, on a model. You can have a model hold it, or you can place it onto something that is visually interesting, like a piece of mirror, wood, fabric, or some other material. You can also use props like spoons and forks. Make sure to keep the camera still. I like to breathe out as I take the photo. Click. It helps me keep the camera still to avoid motion blur. Also, you're going to want to avoid digital zoom. If you're on a big expensive DSLR camera and you have a zoom that you twist like this, you're fine. But if you're on a camera, you're going to want to avoid using your fingers and spreading them apart like this, because what you'll end up with is pixelation. It won't be a better quality photo. If you want it to be better quality, just try moving your camera forward and backward. You can always crop your photo later. For 2D art, make sure the corners are squared up, make sure the artwork is flat, and make sure the background is cropped out. You can see this first image, it is not squared up, it's at a diagonal and the corners are cut off. And the second image, it is bent, and the third image is just right. The person just needs to crop that final image. For 3D art, you're going to take several photos from different angles so that you can choose the best photo. Get creative with your angles. Here are some examples of 2D photos that are good and bad photos. This first one is a bad photo because the lens was dirty and had a big fingerprint on it, which makes it look a little bit blurry. The lighting isn't very good because there's a big shadow going across the whole thing. The image is actually turned sideways, and there's a corner cut off of the artwork right up here, and the edges aren't squared up. They are at a slight diagonal. This is a good photo because the lens was very clean when they took it. It's got even bright lighting. It's right side up, the edges are square, and only the artwork is showing. The background has been cropped out. You can see that the colors look really rich and vibrant. That's because this photo was taken outside and actually no editing has been done to it besides cropping. Here's a good and bad example of 3D images. This is a bad photo because the lighting is okay, but it's a little bit dark. It needs to be cropped, and the background isn't great. There are some objects sticking in that shouldn't be there, and there's some fingerprints on that desk that we don't want to see. This is another example of a bad photo because it's got dark lighting. It needs to be cropped down. The background really isn't great. It has a light in the background. It has the top of someone's head in the background. It's pretty blurry and it's hard to see the object, which is the whole point of the photo, to see the thing itself. This one is a good photo because the lens was clean. It's got even bright outdoor lighting. The image is right side up. It's got a beautiful and interesting wooden background, and the piece is very easy to see. When it's time for you to take your photos outdoors, don't be scared to do silly things like lay on the ground or lean way over something and get into some silly poses. Good luck with your art photography.